It's no secret that I enjoy beat-em-up games. I started this channel playing Streets of Rage 4, and my first discussion video is about Streets of Rage Remake. Even my first exposure on gaming was Streets of Rage for the Sega Genesis. Truth be told, I am more of a beat-em-up guy than a fighting game guy. One of the games that I'm looking forward this year, outside of Samurai Warriors 5, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. The game is a spiritual successor to the classic arcade beat-em-up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles in Time. What's even more exciting, the game is developed by the same developers that brought us Streets of Rage 4 last year, .emu. In this video, I'm going to list down some of my all-time favorite beat-em-up games that not a lot of people may know about. So, without further ado, this is me, Profar, and here are the top 5 underrated 2D beat-em-up games. I love Power Rangers, okay? I don't care how old I am, I don't care how cheesy the show can be, I don't care if it's a watered down version of the original Super Sentai show. I love Power Rangers and all of its cheesy mozzarella glory. Now, the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had games literally in almost every major consoles out there. You got 3 games for the SNES, you got 2 games for the Game Boy, you got 2 games for the Sega Game Gear, and you got 2 games for the Sega Genesis. Each game is different from one another, unlike most multiplats back in the day. Since this is a beat-em-up list, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie for the Sega Genesis, is hands down the best out of them. Developed by Banpresto and published by Sega, the game is a loose adaptation of the 1995 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. The story follows the plot of the movie as well as some episodes from season 2 of the show. The game itself is your typical arcade beat-em-up, but it was really well made. You can choose between 6 Rangers, just like in the movie. Every Ranger has similar moveset to one another in terms of their normal attack. However, each Ranger distinguished themselves with their weapon attack as well as their charge attacks. And you guys thought cloning was a Dynasty Warriors thing only, huh? The music in this game was adapted from the music in the show with all of its 16-bit Sega Genesis glory. I mean, just listen.
Go, go, Power Rangers! Fight! 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 White Ranger Tiger Power! White Ranger Tiger Power!
In short, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie is a simple game, but extremely satisfying. I highly recommend this game to all of you Power Rangers fans out there, as well as tokusatsu fans in general.
Because anime games are bad, and it's really frustrating.
Suck it, GameSpot. Anime games are great! My earliest videos on this channel were showcases of how some anime games are great. Anime games, as in games that are based on popular anime franchise, are not always the same old anime arena fighters, contrary to what the mainstream media says. Starting off this list is a beat 'em up game from a rather obscure anime series called Gear Fighter Dendo. So, Gear Fighter Dendo is an anime show about 2 Japanese schoolboys, Hokuto and Ginga, who were chosen to pilot a robot called Dendo and protect the Earth from an invading robot army from space, because anime loves child soldiers. Gear Fighter Dendo had a PS1 game which I played very often back in the day. Released in 2001, the game was developed by Natsume and published by Bandai. Natsume was the same developer that gave us the Gundam Battle Assault games. Natsume also gave us beat-em-up titles for the SNES such as the Ninja Warriors and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, to name a few. Gameplay-wise, Gear Fighter Dendo plays very similar to the other Natsume beat-em-ups that I mentioned earlier. Unlike most beat-em-up games where you have a 3D playing field to move up and down, this game only has a 2D playing field where you can only move left and right. Usually, this type of playing field is typical to that of a 2D fighting game. You play as Dendo, fighting your way through the stage and beat up multiple robot enemies. Control-wise, it's really simple. You only have the jump button and the attack button. You can perform a normal attack on ground and a jump attack. You can even perform a grab attack while pressing the attack button near an enemy. You can also pick a weapon in this game and use it to smack your enemies. Some weapons in certain stages are projectile weapons. At the end of each stage, you will fight a boss. After defeating the stage boss, you will enter duel mode to fight Night Gear Ogre. In this mode, the game becomes a 3D fighting game. Each time you defeat an ogre, you will obtain a new weapon called the Gear Machines. You can use the Gear Machines as super moves during the beat 'em up section of the game, while during the 3D fighting game section, you select a Gear Machine as a weapon. There's also a flying stage where you basically just spamming dynamic entries on your enemies. This part of the game may be a bit tricky to get through at first. Oh, and the music in this game? Well, just listen. Sounds like something you hear out of an SNES game. Once again, this is typical of your Natsume beat 'em up games. This game has a 2-player versus mode where one player play as Dendo and the other player play as Ogre. Each player gets to select their gear machine to fight with. Sadly, this game does not feature a co-op mode, even though starting from stage 8, Ogre will appear as your ally. Not a lot of people knew about this game for the PS1 because this game was a Japanese exclusive. If you enjoy mecha anime shows or classic 2D beat 'em up games, I highly recommend you to play this amazing hidden gem. Here's another amazing beat 'em up that got lost in the shuffle since it was a Japanese exclusive. Panzer Bandit is a PS1 beat 'em up game developed by Fill-In Cafe and published by Banpresto. The game was released back in 1997 and it felt like a spiritual successor to the popular Sega Saturn classic Guardian Heroes. Now, based on the visuals, you may think this is some cute, wholesome 90s anime show, right? The story is actually really crazy. We're talking about some post-apocalyptic Mad Max Mumbo Jumbo here. In the world of Panzer Bandit, energy has become very scarce for the humans. Meanwhile, an evil organization called ARC wants to control all available energy on Earth so that, you know, they can conquer the world.
Of course!
Therefore, we, as players, control a team of 4 heroes to take down ARC and stop their plan of world domination. Yeah, it sounds a bit generic, but you're here to beat up peons, not for the story. You can choose between 4 characters in this game: Ko, Kasumi, Miyu, and Ain. You can unlock more characters as well, which are the 8 boss characters that you fight at the end of every stage. There is not many beat 'em up games where you get to play as the boss characters, well, at least the ones I know of. Gameplay wise, if you have played Guardian Heroes before, then you are good to play this game. This game operates in a 3D plane field. However, unlike most beat 'em up games where you can move up and down freely, this game has you jumping from one 2D plane to the other. So it's not fully a 3D plane field, it's more like a double 2D plane field. It's like in Power Rangers the movie for the SNES where you have to jump from one field to the other field. Control-wise, the game plays like a classic 2D fighting game. First of all, you press up to jump instead of an action button like most beat 'em up games. You have 3 types of attacks: fast attack, medium attack, and strong attack. You can do a special move in this game, and you can also do an ultimate move once your super gauge is full. This game allows you to play 2-player co-op as well. Any beat 'em up games that allow you to play co-op is always a plus value for me. There is nothing more enjoyable than playing beat 'em ups with your homies. Sadly, the co-op can only play up to 2 players instead of 4. This game is still able to facilitate a 4-player mode in the form of a versus mode. There are 3 types of versus mode: one-on-one, team battle, and a free-for-all. All in all, Panzer Bandit is an excellent hidden gem for the PS1. You guys ever want a sweet anime-style beat 'em up with your homies? Panzer Bandit is the game for you.
because anime games are bad, and it's really, really frustrating.
I am never going to get tired of using that song. When people generalize anime games are bad, thinking that they are nothing but arena fighters, they most likely never played any other anime games outside of Jump Force and the more recent anime games. There are multiple anime games out there ranging from different types of genre. When I said anime games, I meant games based on popular anime series. Anime games are more than just fighting games. You got RPG, sports game, party games, Musou games, and of course, beat 'em up games. Now, personally, the best anime beat 'em up game, hands down, is Dragon Ball Advance Adventure for the Game Boy Advance. Dragon Ball Advance Adventure is a beat 'em up game based on the original Dragon Ball anime series. The story follows the anime series from the first episode where Goku met Bulma all the way until Goku's fight with King Piccolo. Unlike all of the beat 'em up games on this list, Dragon Ball Advance Adventure is not your classic arcade beat 'em up style game. The game is more of a 2D action adventure game with a bit of an RPG element in it. But at the end of the day, the core gameplay is you beating up as many enemies as possible, so in that sense, this game is still categorized as a beat 'em up. Let's talk about combat in this game. You play as Goku, following his adventures from the original Dragon Ball series. Like most beat 'em up games, you have two main action buttons, A for jump and B for attack. Goku's normal attack is him using his martial arts skills, following with a final blow from his power pole. Goku can also use his pole to do a long jump. You have a special meter in order for Goku to perform a special move. You press L for a regular special attack. In this case, Goku will use his power pole to wipe out enemies surrounding him. You press R for a charged special attack. Goku will perform a Kamehameha when pressing R. The longer you press the R button, the stronger the Kamehameha released. You can upgrade combos and special moves as you progress through the game. It's a very nice touch compared to your classic arcade beat 'em up games. The game operates strictly on a 2D playing field, similar to that of Gear Fighter Dendo. The combat mechanics in this game is similar to that of a 2D fighting game. Speaking of 2D fighting games, this game switches to a 2D fighting game mode during the tournament stages. Just like in the anime, Goku will enter the World Martial Arts Tournament and fight multiple of opponents. The game also has a versus mode where you can select 8 characters to fight each other. Now, this may not be a very deep fighting game in terms of mechanics, but it's still a nice touch to add replay value in the game. Now, for those of you who are a fan of beat 'em up games or Dragon Ball the anime series, this game is 100% for you. For those of you who said anime games are never good or it's nothing but arena fighters, you should definitely play Dragon Ball Advance Adventure. For God's sake, not all anime games are arena fighters like Jump Force. Also, Dragon Ball FighterZ is not the only good anime game out there, okay? In conclusion, Dragon Ball Advance Adventure is a great beat 'em up game and also a great video game adaptation to one of the most beloved anime series of all time. I don't think I need to explain too much about my number 1 pick since I made an entire video about it. Although this game is a fan-made game, it has been overlooked with the other official entries of the franchise. You guys know by now that I'm talking about Streets of Rage Remake. Streets of Rage Remake is not only the most underrated beat 'em up game, I considered this game to be the best beat 'em up game ever. This game blew every Streets of Rage game out of the water, and I'm including Streets of Rage 4 as well. If you want to know why I think Streets of Rage Remake is a better game than Streets of Rage 4, I made an entire video on that, so I suggest you go check that video out. I'm going to be short here since I already covered this game. This game combines everything great from all of the 3 original Streets of Rage games. Combat-wise, you can call police backup, you can do a special attack, you can enhance special attacks with the number of stars you have, and most importantly, you can run in this game. I've discussed how important running is in my Streets of Rage Remake video, so once again, go check that video out, link is in the description below. This game has a total roster of 18 playable characters. Some of the characters are previous versions of that specific character. For example, you can play as Axel, from Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3. This feature is similar in Streets of Rage 4, where you can play different versions of each character. Unlike in Streets of Rage 4, where .emu basically just used the pre-existing models in the newer game, in Remake, Bomber Games actually took the effort of redesigning the Streets of Rage 1 and 2 models. This is in order to make the characters from those games on par in terms of gameplay with the Streets of Rage 3 models. This game also has multiple customization options. You can customize the color of your character, you can customize the names of your enemies, you can also customize the way you play this game with cheat codes that you unlock in the shop. Unlike most beat-em-up games where you have the same route from start to finish, this game has a branching path storyline. You can pick a starting point, the pathway through the stages, and also the final stage in the game. So far, Streets of Rage Remake is the only beat-em-up game that allows a wide range of customization and a branching path gameplay. I've never seen any beat-em-up game with this much replay value, not even the 4 main Streets of Rage games. This game was developed by an indie developer from Spain called Bomber Games. Bomber Games developed this game for 8 years, from 2003 to 2011. They developed this game with minimum to almost no budget at all. However, when the project was perfected, Sega, being Nintendo 2.0 at the time, decided to file a cease and desist towards this game. So this is a major reason why this game never had a chance to be seen by the large audience. Since this is a fan-made game, you can Google this game for free. I highly recommend you playing this game. Words cannot do justice on how amazing this game is. Streets of Rage Remake is a good example on how studios with smaller budget can create a game that outdo AAA studios with higher budget. Bomber Games put all of their effort and passion into this project, which tells you a lot on how well the game was made. If Streets of Rage Remake has an official release on Steam for, let's say, $20, I would gladly drop money for the game. All the game needs are an online feature and a 4-player co-op. In fact, why not go all the way to 6-player co-op like in X-Men the arcade game? At the end of the day, Streets of Rage Remake is not only the most underrated beat-em-up game, but it's also the best beat-em-up game, period. So, there you have it folks, my top 5 underrated 2D beat 'em up games. I do plan to cover another top 5 list, but next time it's for underrated 3D beat 'em up games. Also, there will be more Warriors related content in this channel since most of you are here for that reason. Stay tuned for more Warriors content in this channel. What are your favorite beat 'em up games? Which beat 'em up games do you consider to be very overlooked? Let me know in the comment section below. With that being said, this is me Profar. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, give me a thumbs down. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video.